As a real estate investor, it's critical to make sure that you have your market criteria set up for what your target market is that you're investing in. I'm going to show you how to do that by walking through an example with my local area. What you're going to be able to get from this is a clear understanding of what criteria to set up so that you can go on to the next step of setting up your automated search. My name is Ariel Herrera with the Analytics Ariel channel, where we bridge the gap between real estate and technology. I love setting up systems and making sure everything is very clear. So this is the kind of content that you enjoy. Please subscribe to not miss any new videos that come out, as well as like this content so I know you want to see more of it. All right, let's get started. Great, so I'm going to walk you through how to set up your market search criteria. I created a free and easy to use Google Sheets so that you can have all in one spot your market that you are investing in. So if you're not sure what market to actually go for, I would suggest maybe just starting off with one that you're local to since you have a better understanding of it. It's a good way to go through this process so that when you want to do maybe out-of-state investing, you have a better idea of how to fill this out. So in my case, I'm going to be focusing on Brandon, which is local to my area as I'm in the Tampa, Florida area. After setting up your market criteria, you're going to be able to move on to the next phase of having saved searches that automate the properties coming through your inbox. For this exercise, we're going to be working with Brandon and Tampa. And as an overview, Brandon is on the right-hand side of Tampa, the city. What makes it very appealing is that it takes only 20 minutes to come in and out of the city in case you are commuting or you're just trying to enjoy some nightlife. As well, it's close to the major highways like I-75 that can get you to multiple cities like Ocala, Jacksonville. As well, it's close to I-4, which can get you to the lovely Disney World in Orlando. So it really has a lot to offer, which is why in this exercise, we're going to use it as my focus market. So what you can do is just file and make a copy of this so you have it on your own. Even though I highly suggest to focus in on maybe one or two markets at a time, it is useful, say, if you're working with different investors in different markets, to have everything at least in one spot so you don't get confused. So to start, label your market based on your area. This could be any name. And then you want to actually focus on specific zip codes. So you don't want to have everything come through. As we know from where we live, we may have very nice streets around us, or we know that if we turn down the wrong street, it's really undesirable. So we want to make sure that we focus in on which zip codes we want to look at. And the next video, I'll show you how to actually set it up that you can avoid certain parts within a zip code as well. Then you want to set up which property type you want to look at, which is either going to be single family, townhouse, condo, multifamily, land, and manufactured. Next, you want to select your bedrooms minimum and maximum for investing. Now, how do you actually decide this? It's really dependent on your area. So for example, say if you're investing in Jersey City, New Jersey, where there's a lot of single professionals, maybe you can get great cash flow with only a one bedroom because even studios may be going very fast. However, in my market, because it's mostly families and Brandon's in the suburbs, it's really expected to have at least 3 bedrooms minimum. So that way it could be a family of 4 with each child having their own bedroom. And I have here as a max bedrooms number 4, but you could put any as well. Then for bathrooms minimum, for my area, 2 is usually the minimum. And I have here just set 4 as the max. Now let's go over to price. How do we actually decide what our price should look like? Well, it also correlates to how much work we're willing to do. So in my case, I'm not looking to do too much work, just some light cosmetic things, maybe looking at painting, replacing carpets, things like that. So a really great resource to use is Fred Economic Data. It pulls data from many different resources that are the US government as well, such as Census, and it also pulls from Realtor data. I plan to have a future video or course on using Fred data with Python, so do look out for that. Right now we're focused on housing, and we could see there's different stats of housing that we could dive into. As well, we could see what type of geographies. I like to get as specific as possible, which is why I usually go to county or equivalent. So say if we actually look at housing inventory, median listing price in the United States, we could see quickly through a chart from July 2016 through the current, which is May 2021, what this looks like of the median price, in this case, rising. As we could see, it's pretty cyclical, where each January there's a dip. That's to be expected as less people are looking to buy at that time since it's usually cold, as well as the middle of the school year. So houses stay longer on market and usually at a better discount. Then we could also do is go specifically in our county. So for Brandon, I'm looking at Hillsborough County, Florida. And I could see from here, again, from 2017 to May 2021, what the median price is. As we could see, due to COVID and as well as the rest of the country, there's been high jumps in median prices. We could see that within only a year span, from $289 was the median price to about $354. If you're looking to make some cash flow as an investor, you want to find something that's maybe not brand new and has some opportunity to have improvement done to it. In this case, I would look to acquire a property that's under the median. And by me knowing my area, I know that the target market between $250 and $325 seems reasonable. Next, you need to select whether or not parking is important for your property. If you're looking at an area that's high score in walking, which you could actually see in a lot of these websites like Zillow, Trulia, as to what the walking score is, parking may not be necessary. Maybe a lot of the individuals won't actually have cars. But in my case, it's more of a suburban area, so parking is really needed because there'll probably be at least one car per household. Next, you want to make sure you filter on the square feet, so the size of the property itself. This is very important because in my area, you might be able to find a 3-bedroom. If it's 1,200 square feet, it's really not desirable because that means it's very tight. So I have it set up as a minimum square feet of 1,500 and a maximum as well. Then you want to go to set up the year minimum and maximum. This is very important because a lot of home styles are very similar within certain decades of one another. So for example, in Brandon, there's a lot of new builds over the last several years. So there's no reason to really go back before 1980. As well, I don't want anything that's too new. So I'm putting my max at 2018. However, in my market in South Amboy, 1980 would be very, very new with not much upside. The property that I had was from the 1910s. So it's really dependent on what the median is in your area, as well as what type of work you're comfortable with doing. Maybe everything in 1910 always needs a foundation replacement and you're okay with that, then you should really target in for those properties. Next, you want to set up what tags you're looking for. So for example, I'm looking for a property that has some waterfront view. This doesn't have to be on an exact river, but as long as it has a little pond or lake, that's something that's very enticing for renters. As well, there's a lot of them in Tampa, so it's not like it's a hard ask. Next, I like to see bonus, and this is usually meaning a bonus room, which could possibly be converted into a bedroom at some point if it has a size enough for me to put a closet. This could instantly add value into the property itself. Then some of the sites that we're going to look through where you could set up your search criteria actually have signals to show if a property is a fixer-upper or not. So in this case, I think it's important for you to at least set up what are you looking for rehab-wise. Are you looking for a huge fix and flip? Then put high. Maybe you're replacing kitchen countertops, flooring, so a little bit more in-depth work. That's probably a little over 10 grand. Then rehab will be medium. And if you're looking to almost have a turnkey where it's ready to be rented by individuals and all you're looking to do is maybe the paint and the carpet, then I would mark that as low. Now that you have your search criteria, you are ready to put this in so that you can have an automated search of getting properties that you're interested in coming through your funnel. I'm going to show you how to do that using several different methods on several different sites. As well, please check out my course, Real Estate List Building Automation, in the show notes if you actually want to discover how to do this process automatically. And if you haven't already, please subscribe. Thanks.